So she just told me my car is ready. It came up with a notification saying vehicle maintenance required. It made me go in. What was I saying? That yeah, it's you got to learn to take personal responsibility. Like I had to learn to not blame my husband for everything that I felt, like blaming everything on him. And that's how I know about all that I know. I fucked it up in every way possible all along the way. So I'm not here on my pedestal acting like I'm better than everybody else and then I don't, do what they did and blah, blah, blah. It's like I've been through it all, guys. But that's how I've gotten my education, and that's how I've gotten smarter, as I kept making better and better and better decisions. And I found that, wow, when you take personal responsibility and you actually try to do the right thing, or you want to do the right thing instead of just holding a grudge and being jealous and being angry and trying to punish somebody for your shit, like you just start to you can cultivate that contentment. You can cultivate that self-love, and you can find happiness, believe it or not. You can find happiness within yourself, but you have to treat yourself right first. Because if you treat yourself right and you love yourself and you have good boundaries, then you start to treat other people around you a lot better too. And that's like the key to the whole thing. That's the key. And quieting your mind. And God was saying something, like mentioning something about surrendering too, because that's one of the problems that these people in covens get into, is they want to control everything with black magic. They get told that, well, if you just do this, that, and the other thing, everything will work out in your favor and you'll be happy. It's not true though, because you still have your conscience to deal with. And then you're always running away from that, and running away from all the lies and having to cover up with all the lies and all that kind of stuff. So that's just not true. And I found that the more that you surrender and let God, which means let the present moment like take care of itself, let life take care of itself, the more things actually do work out in your favor. So it's the opposite of what like Satan or the demons or whoever try to get you to believe. Because, and I'm not talking about like demons, like a demonic, entity came over this body and took them over, or, something like that. It's more like lower astral entities. It's more subtle than that. If you attract one, you'll attract 2, 3, 4, 5, and still until you start like learning to clean that stuff up. Some people never do, which is how they get as wicked as my neighbors. They just get more and more wicked because they never do a cleanup job on themselves. They never check their conscience or anything. They just keep, getting worse and worse. But so it's just like really about, the more you can quiet your mind, the more you can make peace with things and let things roll out the way that they just do naturally, the better off you're gonna be. Like, if, for example, like if my stepmom would have seen that I had that inheritance and I got a bunch of money or whatever it was I got, I still don't know what that is. It could be land, it could be a house, it could be money. Whatever it was though, was gonna really set me up for quite a while, and I would have really appreciated it, because I've been broke for a long, long time, or like barely eking by for a very long time. And I've been like, had to go through scarcity and all that lack mentality and overcome all that stuff, which I wouldn't have had to go through all that if I wouldn't have been put through that. And it all worked out the way it's supposed to, because I do believe that God puts us through these things to learn and grow us. But if she would have just been like, okay, well, I'm not exactly happy that she's getting this, and here she is, a goody two-shoes, when I chose the bad path in life. So it kind of puts salt in the wound a bit, that somebody really nice is getting something really great. If she would have just admitted that to herself and been like, well, the right thing is to just give it to her, things would have worked out to her advantage too, incredibly, because somebody like me getting a piece of land or getting money like that, I give back. People like us, people who've done the healing work and taken a look at things and taken a look at ourselves and do Byron Katie and all that, we're the kind of people that I would have been there for my family. I would have bought, if I had enough money, I would have bought everybody new houses wherever they wanted to. I would have sent them on vacations. They didn't do that for me. They were totally selfish with their money. They never offered for me to, all expenses paid, like come out and join us. And, it was never about joining them. It was always about like, look at what I'm able to do, and it was on my money too, and they paid for somebody's education on my money too. They paid for his rent and his college and everything. So, and I'm glad. I mean, he's a good person, so I'm glad that he got that. But I would have done that myself, and they didn't have to control that. She didn't have to be vindictive and nasty and hit all that and had been deceitful about the whole thing or none of that needed to happen. And things would have worked out better in their favor, because now they would still have that money, because they would still have me and they'd be visiting me all the time. We probably could have developed a closer relationship. I would have invited them out anytime they wanted. They probably would have really loved the type of land that I established, a farm or whatever. They probably would have really enjoyed that. And it would have been genuine, and they would have gone back and told wonderful stories to their friends and family, true, honest stories about how, we went out to see Amy and it was so cool what she's got set up there. And we just love visiting her like once a year. And, it could have been so real, authentic, fun, and it could have made us all closer if she would have just gone with the way that it was supposed to go, But instead, it's been like it's gone the way that it's gone, which is fine too. But I'm just saying, when we learn to just let life be what it is and not try to control it with voodoo or black magic or any of that kind of stuff, and just kind of take responsibility for our actions and what we've done to cause what's happening, you actually feel more in control in a way, and because you feel content however anything goes. You're not stressed out or angry or throwing a fit or whatever, you're not attacking your neighbor with all these weapons. And these guys are kind of ridiculous. They come out at 1:30 in the morning and they put a device under my car to try to make me panic and try to make me feel paranoid and stuff. And it's just dude, let a girl just get a nap in her car. What's the big deal? Why do you have to? I mean, it's really sad. It's kind of pathetic to think that these people are that evil and that vindictive and that putting their own shit on me when I didn't even do anything. They feel like they have to drive all the way out to wherever I am, and they have to make a point of sneaking under my car and putting a device there. And they actually wait there sometimes, I think, for hours until the light comes out, until it gets lighter out, and then they kind of have to slink away. And it's what kind of life is that to live? And who acts like they're a really nice person to everybody's face and then lives underneath someone that they're following around to the bathroom and they're following around to the kitchen and they're following around to the living room, blasting them with a torture device? What kind of way is that to live? That's you guys are going to turn into that if you keep following them. If you keep following those wicked ways and keep becoming more grudgeful and more angry and more resentful and all that kind of shit they're trying to feed you with. Work against that stuff and start doing some healing work on yourself, and you might just find that you're just a lot happier and a lot more at peace. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth today. I'm gonna get going since my car's ready. Everybody's looking at me like, what's she doing? All right, talk to you later.